Hey there, angry faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, angry faithful. Today on Psychos and Sociopaths, we are going to go over a Trey Ray Parker. And what's interesting on this is it's not a serial killer per se. It's not genocide. What we actually,
but she is psycho.
She is fucking Fruit Loops. Now, this is actually the second time I've heard of this one. This is the first one that actually popped up when I typed it in because this is one of the things that I would just want potential mothers to know about, that there's crazy people like this. And what she did, and we'll go over the whole thing, is what she did was she...
We'll get into that when I read it.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we read it.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do real quick, because we want to kind of make this a short episode because we know that it helps if I'm close to the microphone.
Yes. Or if you turn that up a little bit.
Oh, let me see here. All the way up and then there
we
go. Now subject to the dulcet tones of my advocation. Okay. So we're going to make this a short episode. There's not a lot of information out there right now that I'm sure that once the sentencing phase is over with, that
I think
I'm sure well, no, she's been convicted, but now she's waiting on the sentencing phase. So now we get to find out what her fate is after the fact. Now, usually the way that these things work is that after the sentencing is over, then the public request for information is made by the different media outlets, and then we start getting the grisly details. Okay, so credit this article to CBS.com, dated October 4th, 2022. So this is about 10 days ago when this article came out, but here we go. Let me get a drink here. Okay. A Texas woman was convicted of capital murder Monday for killing a pregnant woman to take her unborn baby. A Bowie County jury in Northeast Texas deliberated for about an hour before finding Taylor Rene Parker, 29, guilty of the October 2020 murder of Reagan Michelle Simmons Hancock, who was 21, and the abduction of the daughter cut from her womb, who later died. The verdict of a jury of 6 men and 6 women came after 3 weeks of sometimes grisly testimony. Parker's attorneys argued that the baby was never alive and moved to dismiss a kidnapping charge, which would have lowered the capital murder charge to just plain Jane run-of-the-mill murder. Quote, "That's why in opening statements we spent so much time on definitions. You can't kidnap a person who has not been born alive," said Jeff Harrelson in his final argument to the jury. You gotta love defense attorneys. They might think that you're as guilty as the day is long, but if it means putting an additional month or two payment on their Mercedes Benz, well, then by God, they would defend Satan. Now, prosecutors said, however, that several medical professionals testified the infant had a heartbeat when born. They also recounted Parker's actions leading to the day Simmons Hancock was killed. Quote, "We have methodically laid out what she, being Parker, did, why she did it, all the moving parts, and all the collateral damage. The best evidence the state of Texas has that the baby was born alive is that Taylor Parker said it wasn't, said prosecutor Kelly Crisp. Fellow prosecutor Lauren Richards recounted all of the masquerades Parker performed for different people, including the pregnancy she faked leading up to the killing. Quote, in the past 2 weeks, the evidence has never been more clear, Assistant District Attorney Lauren Richards told the jury. She's a liar, a manipulator, and now she's going to be held accountable for it. She reminded the jury of how Reagan was beaten in the head at least 5 times with such force that the blows compressed her skull into her brain.
Fucking hell.
The pain Reagan must have felt when Taylor started cutting her abdomen hip to hip. Indescribable, Richard said. When Taylor had the baby and Reagan was still alive, that's when Taylor started slashing and cutting. She can't leave her alive. It was no quick death. She just kept cutting her. I guess Reagan would not die fast enough for Taylor to get out of there and to get on with her plans. During the trial, a state police investigator testified that Parker conducted extensive research on how to fake a pregnancy convincingly. On the day of the killing, she watched a video on the physical exam of an infant delivered preterm at 35 weeks, Special Agent Dustin Estes said. After the killing, Parker was stopped by a Texas state trooper in DeKalb, Texas, about 12 miles northeast of the crime scene. And that was reported by CBS DFW. She told the trooper she had given birth on the side of the road and that the baby was not breathing, an official said. The station reported Parker was then taken to a hospital in Idabel, Oklahoma, where the baby was pronounced dead. The punishment phase has been scheduled to begin on October 12th, which as of this recording was 2 days ago. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, although jurors may opt for a life sentence of imprisonment without parole. Now, my first take on this is that I think that we need to bring back a one-time, one-off chair appearance by the electric chair. I think we need to let Taylor Rene Parker fry. Now, I get it. You're going to have your protesters talking about how it's cruel and unusual punishment. Well, what she did to this poor woman before taking her unborn child out of her womb while she was still alive, it's cruel and unusual, and that is putting it very, very mildly. We are talking the understatement of the century. And granted, yes, we are only 22 years into this century, but still, nonetheless, I think that the prosecutors pushing for the death penalty is probably the right call. If the jury decides to take life in prison without parole, that would be giving this woman who not only exterminated the life of one individual, but two, in an attempt to somehow vindicate or legitimize the faked pregnancy that she was purporting to have.
Yeah,
I
and
think that's giving her way too much air to breathe.
yeah. One thing on this though, this is actually the second time this has happened. I read a report in 2008 where a woman faked a pregnancy, was living next door to the couple, and luckily on this case the child did live, but the mother passed because the crazy lady ended up like cutting the baby out and just letting the woman bleed out. And this is just one of those things that everybody, yeah, there's hundreds of people that are crazy. What's the word I'm looking for? Vigilant on anything that you do in life. I mean, there's a lot of people that I hang out with that I kind of question that they should not be around me that much. I like the people. They're good people and everything, but I'm not gonna.
They say that the act of forgiveness is to forgive the sins of somebody else, and just because you may forgive the person, which means you don't want them to cease to exist, but you don't want them necessarily eating at your table. And I think in the case of Taylor Rene Parker, she no longer needs to eat at anybody else's table or her own for that matter. I am.
Yeah. And if all the evidence is right there, I hate to be one of those people that, you know, I know we have a justice system that is somewhat works, but
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't stop.
it's a good foundation. It's deteriorated over the years. Um, you know, Lady Justice is supposed to be blind.
In
We
this
have
case,
knowledge of people and personal knowledge that the justice system doesn't always work the way that it's supposed to. It can be weaponized, but in this particular case, we need to let due process do its job. Um, I do know
I'm still
that.
up for Judge Dredd.
Right, yeah. We can just call Oliver Queen and he'd be like, Taylor Rene Parker, you have
Yeah.
failed this city, and then he puts an arrow in her chest. But
Yes.
in the state of Texas, and anywhere in the country for that matter, any of the states that still practice the death penalty, capital punishment can only be obtained by a unanimous decision of all 12 jurors. Um, I was watching on the news down here last night where they were talking about a case that had um, it was a murder case that was up for capital, for the death penalty, and they were deliberating on it, and it required a unanimous decision. But two of the 12 jurors abstained, stating that due to the suspects, the convicteds, um, mental status, it warranted the. Can you hear that in the background? My
Mm.
wife and her sister are watching Grey's Anatomy, and I'm just like, oh my god.
No, it's not
Um,
popping up. You don't worry about it.
okay, fine, awesome, as long as you can't hear it. But i- it's going to be very tricky, and at this point, as badly as the general public and we here at Angry Meat Production wish the death penalty would be chosen, selected, and voted upon unanimously, we do know that the 12 jurors have a job still to do. So,
Yeah, it's situations like this. It's really it's like, are you kidding me? This person doesn't need to be on the fertilizer. Fertilizer might be
yeah, yeah, exactly, fertilizer. And then I think even then that would be
that
I-
would not eat the fruit from there.
true, yeah. So I'm like, okay, with the
Dude, would that and I'm sorry to interrupt you again. Wouldn't that be crazy if they fertilized like the grass that the cows were eating? The cows started like being like killers and psychopaths. That would that'd be weird. I don't know why I thought of that,
so
but
the
that
transference of crazy through osmosis and digestion, is that what you're going for?
yes.
Okay, yeah, no,
I mean, look at Idle Hands. That wasn't no
I'm
where the
picking
guy's
up what you're
hand.
putting
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
I mean, mad cow disease.
I see where you went there, sir. I see where you went there. But it's so weird that yes, we live in a time frame where uh something like this back in like fuck, probably in like 1900s.
And just to be clear,
What are
so
you
that
drinking?
way anybody who's watching us on YouTube or Rumble, they don't go, "Oh my God, he's drinking alcohol during the filming." This is 1877 mineral water from HEB. So go get fucked and stay fucked.
And yeah, no alcohol in this. Mm, whiskey.
That's a very, very classy restaurant style glass, sir.
Yes, dude. These are honestly, these are probably the best glasses you possibly find, and they were cheap because my dad stole them from the Pizza Hut.
Okay. All right. I see you over there, Dickerman. All right, cool.
What's
Um,
the limitation? What 7 years, 10 years?
um, but yeah, no, this is going to be a case that I want to revisit later once we have more information available.
Yeah, if anything, we'll
Um,
put it up on Instagram or our Facebook site or the TikTok, which TikTok's actually going a little bit heavier nowadays. We're
hey,
almost at 100.
I'm glad. I'm happy for it. Um, but I mean, just the depravity that somebody demonstrated with the lack of empathy, compassion, and or conscience to cut a living baby out of a living victim
Yeah,
for the
it's
purpose of producing a baby that you didn't yourself carry because you decided to tell everybody that you were pregnant. I mean, let's just play devil's advocate here. Well, not devil's advocate. Let's go to the multiverse here. Let's say that this worked. She gets away with it. The baby lives. Nobody finds the mother's body. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Right. She takes the baby to her baby's daddy, and is like, "Look, it's our daughter, son, whatever." Right. What if that dude decided to say, "Hey, this ain't my kid. I
just
want
gonna
a
DNA
paternity
test,
test." Yeah.
dude,
I
dude.
mean, where did she think that this was going to go?
Yeah.
That he was just going to openly just say, "You know what? That's my kid." And then later on, whenever this
What if we were
child
fucking
starts
up to try to get
growing and
child
the
support?
facial features and I mean,
I mean, there's so much that I mean, even after the fact, and she didn't get caught on this. There's so much that the people like this would. She's so stupid. She would. It was like, hey, remember that one night we had sex? I got pregnant. I forgot to tell you after 9 months, and now you owe me child support. DNA.
yeah,
Uh-oh. It's not my kid. And by the way, it's not even your kid. What the hell is happening here?
yeah. I mean, the chance of paternity and maternity at that point get ruled out exponentially to the point where it's like, if a child is yours, the DNA tests usually come back saying 99.999 repeating percent chance of paternity or maternity, right? Whereas if you take the DNA test and you go to prove paternity or disprove paternity, you'll get all zeros, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I've seen both. So it's like,
Do you
huh,
think? No, because okay. They found the They didn't find the They found the body, but it's not connected to uh a murder yet. They still have the DNA on file, so she would still.
yeah, the DNA, yeah. Well, what they would do at that point is they would run the DNA profile through the database,
Yeah,
and it would come up with a hit.
yeah,
So I mean, and that's not too outlandish. I mean, 10, 12, 15 years ago, I mean, we'd be talking like an episode of CSI Las Vegas, but um, with the advancements in law enforcement, um, medicine, and DNA profiling, I mean, it just, and I'm going to need that tinfoil hat behind you, but it's one of those situations where, you know, anytime somebody sends a sample, whether it's ancestry.com or 23andme, you're going to have,
he gets locked up in a database.
yeah, I mean, your
I mean,
DNA gets
our
put into a
DNA,
database.
our DNA is
So
locked up in a database,
yeah, I mean, as service members, yeah, our DNA is on file. So, um,
and apparently our
which is
freaking
why there
photo.
will never, ever, ever, ever be another unknown soldier being entombed.
Yeah. No, even our photographs. If we went through the military, I found that one out because I ended up getting like a temporary pass,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, where you got a photo on file? I was like, wait a minute, what? And it was my photo from when I got an ID like 20
Oh,
years ago.
well, yeah, all they got to do is at that point just take it out of the deer system. But
Yeah, that was strange and weird.
yeah,
But
but I mean, at this point, we can just make comments. We can voice our opinion. Um,
honestly, I would have taken her outside and hung her, take her out in the
yeah, but I mean, at the same time, again, you got to remember That
She admitted to.
the Constitution even, I mean, allows even for people such as Taylor Rene Parker the right to due process. Now, the justice system in this particular instance did its job. So congratulations, bravo.
Well, they can
But
still go through the process, but she still
well,
hung.
here's the thing. Even here in the red state of Texas, you have people trying to turn it blue for all it's worth. You're going to have people protesting. You're going to have people doing candlelight vigils outside the prison the day that she is executed. You're going to have people petitioning the governor to give her a stay of execution. You know, I mean, I know that, you know, we make jokes, or that people who attempt to be funny, looking at you, Joker, talking about, you know, Texas being the state where you try to kill us, we'll kill you back and we'll do it better. You know, you people like Ron White talking about how we have an express lane. You know, all that aside, and not to get too terribly apolitical about it, but you know, it was said once that elections have consequences, and you know, we need to be able to keep Texas red, because this is one of the last bastions of actual freedoms left in the country. You know, and part of that is, you know, understanding that the laws of man may, you know, beings, they're not completely absolute because they are not the law of God, but the laws of man are here for a reason. And the Texas justice system, depending on what county you're in, that is, um, looking at you, Wichita County, um,
Oh,
does do its best.
Wichita
And it,
County is literally uh, even the 13th district is the most Republican in the nation. Not in the state of Texas,
no,
but
I understand that. Well, I'm talking about the efficiency. Well, okay, so you've got Republican and then you got rhinos, right?
yeah,
Like there's a certain prosecutor there in Wichita County. We're not going to name any names, but their initials are Versal Rush. She ran as a Republican, but she is about as rhino as they potentially get.
yeah.
Um, you know, so
Which one's that? Is he?
she's short, hunchback, wears glasses.
Oh, never mind. Not thinking about the same one.
Yeah, no. I mean, she works for the district attorney's office. She's, you know, anyways, digressing. I don't want to get into a defamation lawsuit here.
Well, it's not really defamation. We're telling the truth.
Well, I could go on for days about this particular individual because I used to be related to her. So, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
whew, yeah.
Okay.
We
Yeah, whoa.
just we're gonna put a pin in the wall. We're gonna hang our hat on that one, and we're just gonna walk away.
Yeah,
Um,
we're backing up slowly.
right. It's like the White House tour. We're walking, we're in, we're stopping. So I mean, the Constitution was framed the way that it was, outlining the responsibilities and the powers of the different branches of government for a reason. Um, Law enforcement in this country and in this state, it's not perfect. It never will be.
Yeah. I mean,
But
there's a lot of stuff.
we need to try to be as originalist as potential as possible. Um, so you know, it's one of those situations where we, you know, we have to, you know, instead of trying to figure out loopholes, we need to look at the laws the way that they were written, and we need to abide by them.
Yeah, a lot of people
And
don't want to like the 2A. I mean, there's a lot of stuff is like, oh, you can't have a suppressor. You can't have a
See,
certain
here's the thing.
stuff on your gun.
All right, so I just said a minute ago that we need to stop looking for loopholes, but here's the caveat to that. You know how the ATF controls suppressors and suppressor sales?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A suppressor is not a firearm.
Yeah. Even the trigger.
Suppressors fall under the same category as optics and furniture. That's all that is.
Yeah.
And it should not be regulated by the federal government.
I don't see the big deal.
In fact, there's a lawsuit
Yeah.
that was filed against the ATF specifically for that reason.
I think Texas is doing that too.
Well, yeah, because the ATF is coming in and saying that because, back, what was it, last September, the governor signed into law that suppressors made and maintained within the state of Texas do not require tax stamps, right?
Yeah.
The ATF comes in and says, oh, no, 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 no.
How are you going to get
And
your money?
right, because all the ATF is doing is they're looking at it like, okay, this is a cash cow for us. People want suppressors. But they should not be federally regulated because they are not firearms. There is nothing about a suppressor that you can do to it to cause it to fire a weapon or a projectile round. It is attached to a firearm.
Yeah, it just baffles me because of the whole fact of a suppressor. It's all it does is it suppresses the sound a little bit, and not even that much, to the point where you still need hearing protection. And it's not. It's just the way that Hollywood puts suppressors on stuff. It's like, oh no, you will never ever hear that shot. But if you're using a rifle rounds and not like the blackout to where it's subsonic, you're still going to hear a shot.
You're still going to hear the shot. Now, depending on the size of the suppressor that you put on the end of the weapon, the most that you're going to get out of it is, yes, suppressing the sound of the round cutting through the air. But the only thing that you would hear on the machine inside of it is the actioning of the bolt or the slide. I mean, you might hear that, that's it. You won't hear the bang because all of the gases that causes that sound will be contained within that suppressor. But you have to have a big enough suppressor. I saw a TikTok about it yesterday. This guy, he was putting like a suppressor on, he fired an unsuppressed AR, right?
Mm-hmm.
5.56, you hear the bang, right? And then he puts on a suppressor, and then you hear the it's not the bang, but you hear the crack, right?
Yeah.
Then he puts on what's called the thick boy suppressor, right?
Okay.
And then all you hear is the actioning of the bolt.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like the suppressor that they would put on the end of a 50 cal.
Wow. No.
Yeah, I mean, they even make suppressors for tanks and artillery pieces, but they're just so huge that they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're
cartoonish.
well, they're cartoonish, but it's unreasonable to have that kind of
I can't even imagine the mechanics on having something like that.
Well,
Like,
the suppressor that they use for like the howitzers and the Paladin, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it literally it looks like a dildo. You got the main chamber, and then you've got two exhaust chambers off to the side down toward the bottom. It looks like a pair of dick and balls.
I'm gonna look at that.
I mean, dude, it's yeah, it's fucky. But so I'm like, golly. My mom texted me just a minute ago. They're at my dad's 50th high school reunion.
Wow.
I'm sitting there going, damn, my dad's been out of school for 50 years.
I only went to one high school reunion.
I haven't been to a single high school reunion of mine. Now I went to one for my with my ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they seemed kind of sort of okay at first, but then you sit there and talk to them and you're like, oh, well, you're just as small minded as the town we're sitting in.
It's
Oh
so
my
real.
God. I personally, I refused to go to any of my high school reunions just simply due to the fact that I don't want to have to pay for the popular people back in high school to sit with each other again and exclude everybody else. I'm like, if I wanted to do that, I'd just sit at home. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, you got all these people that are like, oh, they got married or they went to college and they got all these great high paying jobs. And there was a handful of us that joined the military and, we're working stiffs kind of a thing. And, like when I moved back home, I think it was like the first class reunion. It was supposed to be like the 10-year reunion or something like that. And everybody found out that I had joined the army or whatever. And they were like, I mean, dude, I was just getting blown up. Like, oh my God, you need to come. Because this was when it was like really fashionable and popular to thank veterans for their service.
Oh, the
And
pictures
there
of
was a chat board on the reunion website. And I was like, you fuckers didn't want to talk to me a lick when I was there. I'm not paying you to do that. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. You
I'm
didn't
gonna
want
set
nothing
up
to
a
do with
booth.
me then. You sure as hell ain't gonna have nothing to do with me now.
No, no, no. You should have done this. You should have set up a booth and have everybody pay you like $1. It's like, thank you for okay. You need a signature? Okay, there we go. Go on.
Shit.
Could have made it fortune. They're trying to change that, right? Two congressmen are trying to change that, going from thank you for your service to thank you for our freedom.
Oh my God. Okay, see, I just let
Yeah.
that go. Just let it go. Thank you for our freedom. I mean, really? Shut up. Just shut up. Thank you
You
for
know
our
that
freedom.
there's some
Shut
people out there.
up. Just
There's some people out there that they suckle on it. Now,
if people want to come up
mind
to
you.
me and say that of their own fruition, I'll be like, you're welcome, I guess. I mean, I still don't know how to respond to that. I'm like, I mean, the long-winded answer that I give everybody is it was the best, worst job I ever had in my life, and I would do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I will do it. I
We
will
have
think.
gotten so far off into the
Yeah,
weeds. It's
I
not
don't.
even
I don't
funny.
care. We should keep this up every once in a while
Oh, yeah.
because everybody's entertained. Honestly, people are entertained with this. I don't know why, but here's the thing. Okay, I will thank someone that was in the military service for their service if they were a Korean or Vietnam vet.
Yeah, I mean,
Hands down.
if I see an old timer
I'll-
out there walking around, he's got that Vietnam veterans hat on. I'll walk up to him and I'll shake his hand. I'll be like, "Welcome home, brother."
yeah,
But
that was Johnny giving me the kissies and saying he loves me on air. That's so weird. We just
well, considering that the camera angle, I'm now looking at you directly. When I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking away from you, but I
whatever,
was
man.
looking that way.
Whatever, whatever.
I mean, it's not that I don't love you, dude. I mean, but
uh,
for the record, you say it first all the time. So
yeah, I do. I love you, baby. Yeah.
all
Uh,
right. So, I think it's high time that we increase what is going on with my camera.
I don't know. Someone's looking
Hold
up
on
porn on
just
the
a
internet.
minute. Okay. That's weird. Uh-huh.
Oh man. While you fix that, I'm gonna put a little bit of enlightenment. The most searched thing on in Russia right now for Google and whatnot isn't porn. It is how to break one's leg without dying. Yeah, they're trying to get out of the military really bad, and they're trying to get to where they're not. What was it called? Drafted. There we go.
Yeah, I know. I'm having to try to switch back here. Hold on. Like for whatever reason.
Even that's freezing right now.
Yeah, it is, dude. That's weird.
Yeah, they're. But the most
I'm just gonna
yeah.
I gotta download the update to my MacBook, so that's probably it's probably
I
part
gotta
of
do
the
the same thing too.
problem.
But that's so surreal that the most Googled thing right now is how to break an arm or a leg in Russia.
Yeah, that's hold
And
on.
again.
Damn it.
It has to be your internet. But anyways,
It's not. It's really not.
but that's so strange. I mean,
Let's see if I can do this here. Hold on. We're gonna go here.
but
See if I can.
while you do that, pay attention to me, folks, because Johnny's doing his thing. It's so strange that I mean, most people would look up porn. Not gonna. It's
Okay.
there we go.
So if I'm gonna freeze the frame, I'm gonna freeze it with a fucked up expression.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There's Johnny. Freeze frame. Like your mother said, if you keep that up, he'll be stuck like that. And
But I didn't find my humor. All right.
well, we've gone 35 minutes. We can go ahead and cut it for there. But everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Let me see camera.
Are you still on this shit?
Here.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I am, man. I'm
trying to
telling you.
close up.
Let me finish. Let me switch back here. Hold on.
Okay, whatever.
God, right there.
There we
Okay.
go. Yeah, we haven't been doing the angry salute in a while.
You know what? You're right.
We really haven't. So everybody, thank you for listening, for watching, and angry salute, everybody. There we go. Also, shout out to Matt Farrell. I did a little bit of live with him. Go to My Peacock on YouTube. His comedy's up on there. His pod, I guess it's a little bit of show. It's also on Patreon. Also go donate to the BRCC fund. Chris works for them and he works for the BRCC fund, and every once in a while I like to give him a shout out. And if you are in the Fort Worth area in November, I think 5th, November 5th, I will be down in the Fort Worth area doing the Vet Fest DFW Saturday and Sunday. Sunday is the dinner at 6:00, and the actual event will be on Saturday. I think 10:00 to 6 or 3 or something like that. The details are in the VFW Vet Fest DF. Is it DF?
There's no way that didn't just come over.
What?
You didn't hear that?
Yeah, I heard the fart. I thought it was you.
Okay.
But anyways, thank you all for watching. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Johnny Skelton.
And this is Psychos and Sociopaths.